All right, let's do this.
Boom.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Passionate DJ Podcast. I'm your host, David Michael. My co-host today is the one and only Tony DeCero.
What's up, man?
And Brandon, the one and only B-Funk, is back with us for Trance Pick 3.
Yeah.
So I've been looking forward to this. We talked about trance a whole bunch, and in the pre-show banter, and we're like, let's just do a Pick 3 on this. We've never done a full trance episode for Pick 3. We have brought in tracks before for like dance classics and stuff, but I don't think we've ever done a full
trance
show
episode.
for it. So
I haven't heard it yet, and I'm excited.
yeah. So how did you get introduced to trance? Was that like, for me, it was like my introduction into electronic music.
I remember I was talking this earlier. I remember it was like 94, maybe 93 or something like that. I was in middle school, and Daft Punk and all that stuff was kind of, that was what everybody heard, like in Athens, Ohio or whatever. And I remember my brother got this tape from this kid Eben Gilio. He's from Prague, and it was like, it's Paul Van Dyke 7 Ways, and I'm like, Paul Van Dyke, he sucks, because I didn't know it. That's just like punk kid. Like, I don't know what it was. So if it's not on the radio, it's not on an amp or whatever, it's like, it sucks. And my brother would just play it on the cassette tape, and I was like, man, what is this? Because I had heard mostly like house music or big beat or like Acid or Lords of Acid or something like that. And I just remember listening to it. I even remember so much that there was a track, it was called People, and it gets started, and right when it gets like the breakdown, the tape ended, and then the next side they recorded the other side, and that song's just not even there. So I'd be like, always listening to the end of that tape, and then be like, man, like, oh, every time. And so now I've actually, I own it on CD, I can listen to it. But it was just really a sound that I always liked. I've always liked sound. I wanted to go to school for sound for film, and I've always been interested in weird sounds like Star Wars and stuff like that. And so trance is very much plays in that realm where they might even have like dialogue from films and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of the people who did the music when I was growing up, had that kind of weird artistic feel to it, if that made sense. And you always had this expanse. It just always felt bigger than other styles of music, if that makes sense.
I can agree with that, because they seem to play with the stereo space a lot, and the fitting little bits of sound. Like every little piece of the audio spectrum is taken up but cut out, when it's done well, sliced in there, so you get so much going on out here, that it's like, how is this even only two left and right channel? So that's great. So for those who are uninitiated, Pick 3 is a series of episodes that we do here on the Passionate DJ Podcast, where each of us bring in 3 tracks under some theme, and trance is our theme this time. So I'm really looking forward to this. So I know I brought in some stuff that kind of spans a few different years. I'm sure, Tony, you probably brought in some pretty early ones, I'm hoping.
Absolutely, from the 90s.
Nice.
Mid-90s to 99.
So, yeah, so that's going to be fun to kind of see what our angles are on this, I think. So I guess who wants to start? You want to, as our guest, you want to go ahead and start, Brandon?
Sure, the pressure's on.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
So I, when I found out we were going to do this, I was really excited because I love trance, and I wasn't sure, the parameters. It was classic, so I was thinking, needs to be older, so then I started thinking about stuff that I was, grew up on, and, but then it's like, can I even find a lot of that stuff, because a lot of the music I had was just rips, and whatnot. I wasn't DJing with, I just was listening to it or whatever, and so a lot of my favorites got killed by YouTube, so we're not going to hear this.
So disclaimer, YouTube will only let us play certain tracks, and we have to check the YouTube policy beforehand, so we are limited on what we could bring in. So I'm sure that was kind of a pain. But
I will say.
We appreciate you going through and doing the homework on that.
Paul Van Dyke is definitely one of my favorite DJs ever. And we won't be playing any of his music tonight, so unfortunately,
Sorry about that.
Preface, but yeah, I will. The first one I'm gonna start with. I brought a few just to make sure. I checked these. Let's just go with the classic.
I think you're on channel 2 there.
Channel 2. This is just straight up amazing. This is Traffic by Tiesto.
Oh, okay.
And this is the edit version of it, but when Tiesto did trance, which a lot of people probably don't remember. So.
That's how I came into Tiesto.
Really?
I didn't know about him as a DJ.
There we go.
I will let this play for a minute.
this just like aggressive like, and this song is like, it's not the drop. It's not.
Right.
Yeah, the melody is already here. We're just like, it's just growing already. You're already dancing to the best part of the song. Like, and that's just, I don't know, something it just pulls me in every time. Just boom, boom. And like I said, like the atmosphere just feels like you're in a warehouse with 10,000 people, and you're just like, this is pumping. I was not, I don't know when this came out, but I never saw this live. It's clean, like
Absolutely.
it's just the same melody, just got the kick in, and just they just, not that trance is not good now, but it was just different then. The technology was different, and and I don't know what was the concert Tiesto did, where it's the round. I feel like he did this at that.
That's what this. Yeah, that's the video of this song.
Yeah.
He's playing, and
the
that
spaceship.
those
big round.
yeah,
stage.
those
Yeah, it was
those
supposed to be a
visuals
spaceship.
really pulled me in when I was in college. It just really. I saw that, and it's just like, man, that's amazing. I had never been to a trance show. I've only heard it on the radio and listened to rips of like Central Mix and stuff like that.
I hadn't listened to trance in a long time. That's when I was into my darker prog house, going into techno and tech house and that era. But I had seen a video of Tiesto on YouTube, and it was him playing Bayfront in Miami. It was a Tiesto concert, but it was a video, an edited video to one of his songs, and I didn't know who he was. And that's how I learned about him. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is trance now, because I hadn't dug into it in a long time. That's how. Then actually, I got to open up for him.
It's so funny that you started out with this track too, because for whatever reason, we talked about Trance Addict before the show. And that was a forum I used to frequent all the time, and for whatever reason, that track was like a running joke on that site for years. So like, anybody like get on there and like, what? Can somebody ID this track? It was always Tiesto Traffic. Tiesto Traffic. Every track ID was Traffic.
Yeah, no, and coming to this, I had a lot of different ways. I could just have songs I love, but I didn't want it to be like too far obscure, because you hear people's like favorites, and you're like, you just don't connect with it. So I was like, I wanted to make sure like it was kind of famous, but I didn't want to just do like, okay, we're gonna do Foreign Angel, Traffic, and that's the bangers of all bangers, Adagio for Strings or something like that. Even though they're all fantastic songs, I kind of wanted to, have one that like I feel like people know, and then one I'm like, hey, this is a deeper cut, and then ones I just love because for whatever reason.
I was afraid we might bring in some of the same tracks, so I kind of intentionally like did the same thing, like on the fringe just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like maybe you recognize this artist, but not this track or whatever. So
and I brought some
of them.
backups too, and I guess I'll preface, these aren't my top 3 favorite trance tracks. These are just one, I was going through, and I went through a lot. I've got my old music that I've ripped from Kazaa and everything, just random things, and I just was like, these songs elicit some, every time I heard a few of these, I'm like, I just keep coming back to a lot of these, and they just feel good for whatever reason. So
yeah, and that's one thing we always want to encourage is like, don't try to make it a top 3, because if you're like me, you'll just get like analysis paralysis.
100%.
What are my top 3? I don't know. So
I definitely was doing that this afternoon. I was like, no.
Bring in
just
3 that you
going.
like.
Yeah, these are solid, because, the day you're feeling, sometimes you want that aggressive trance. Sometimes you want that uplifting trance, like it really, back in the day, the stuff I'm listening to now, I probably wouldn't have liked back then with all the, it was 138, 142. I wanted that really fast. Now I've mellowed out a little bit. I want more atmospheric, but that's still uplifting feel,
I almost brought in some like hard trance, but then I was like, I don't even know if I want to listen to it now.
Well, I was worried about the the dynamics and everything, because a lot of stuff is just compressed, or it just sounds bad.
Stuff that I brought in is pretty trance, but when I listen to it and it's like 135, I'm like, man, I can't believe I played that fast.
Switch down to -8. Well, show us what you got, Tony. What'd you bring in?
So all right, I brought in a
wax?
few. Yes, I did. I went from the club, the top 40 club, into my first rave in '96, but I was exposed to Sasha and Digweed in '94. Really didn't know when I was going to the raves around here. I wasn't really familiar with the genres of music, but all I heard was, techno, house, drum and bass, and breaks, and that was really it. There wasn't much trance played around here, but I was at a house party, and a kid was playing at an after party, and I was like, this is what I want. This is what I like right here, So I went through his records and looked, and one of the labels that he was playing was Platypus, which later on became one of my favorite trance labels, And, because I was into into the clubs, and really not into techno at that time, trance was more of a structured song that had breakdowns and builds, It just wasn't that constant 4/4, so I kind of, related to it a little bit better than I did everything else. But this song right here, this actually became a song that was on American Pie. Did you see American Pie 1?
Yeah, but it's been a real long time.
Yeah. when he was dancing in the room for the Russian girl.
Oh, Nadia or
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What channel are we on here for?
I think 4. Yeah.
All right. And this is Libra presents Taylor, and the song is called "Calling Your Name."
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Let me see if I should know that.
This is a great song.
But everything that, oh, hey, Skip, you guys know it's real vinyl now. These volumes made it through 2 Ohio basement floods.
Yeah, those of you on the YouTube audience can see this is a bit of a worn cover.
Yeah.
It's the power of trance.
Lost a lot of records over the time, but a lot have made it as well.
So bouncy.
Yeah. But Platypus became pretty much one of my favorite trance record labels back then. This was the song was made in '96, but I don't think I got it until like early '97. And then when American Pie came out, we were actually at the movie theater, and he was in the room dancing with Nadia with the little towel between his legs. You remember that part?
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember that,
In
yeah.
American Pie,
Yeah.
this was the song. He had his little clock radio, and he turned it on, and this is the song that was playing.
Oh,
And we
that's
were
awesome.
like, "Holy shit, calling your name!" It was pretty cool.
By the way, I'm not complaining at all, but did we play this once before? I know it wasn't for Dance Classics, but I feel like we talked about that story. Maybe we just talked about it offline.
We might have. We've talked so much.
It's a great track. I'm not complaining at all.
Oh,
Either
no,
way.
absolutely. Are you familiar with it?
I am not. I saw the movie a few times, but I always love how they, certain movies would, especially in that late 2000 or late 90s, early 2000s, like a song like this would be used. Like, you guys remember movie Go?
Oh yeah.
They had what was that BT song that was in that?
That was
It was like the voice that it's oh, I can't remember. But that's like how I got a lot of like the trance that I listened to, because I'd be watching a movie and I'd be like, what is that song? And I would go like Netscape Navigator and trying to figure out like what is the song when he's like tripping on acid in the rave or something like that, and I bought that soundtrack, and I can't remember what that song is. But, I got a
you have to look it up.
Spotify can
Yeah.
tell me.
That gated synth. you
Gated
like?
synth, love it. Yeah. But yeah, I could relate a lot better to these songs because of the breakdowns, the vocals. I love melodies.
Yeah.
I love melodies. And back then, techno definitely had next to no melody. And there, honestly, back then, I don't remember many people outside of Drew and myself playing trance. I like Naughty Groove and Trip did, But I want to say Naughty Groove came back from. He was in the military. I want to say it was 97 or 98 or whatever. But we were the only ones really around playing trance in the Midwest. And I was going to record stores around here, couldn't find anything trance.
Yeah.
Anything trance.
Yeah.
By the way, I think Naughty Groove's probably our most mentioned person that hasn't actually been a guest on the show yet.
All right.
Love that little bouncy acid line there. Or acid-like.
Here comes the gate.
Any luck over there, B-Funk?
What's it?
Having any luck over there?
No, there's a playlist for the soundtrack, but the official soundtrack's not on there. But it's a BT song, and it's like the voice kind of in this used, but it's a very it starts out and it's like a very stuttered, like electronic sounding.
Typical BT stutter edit.
And it was the song of that movie. Because I remember other friends who knew that I liked electronic music being like, "Hey, did you hear this song?" And because that was always nice. I was the center for this music. So "Hey, did you hear the song?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard that." Have you heard "Resurrection" by PPK? Or yeah, I've heard that song. Oh man, that's epic right there.
So back then, this to me was known as progressive trance, right? And it was anything with that roll, that crescendo, and that build. And what's kind of funny is that's what every kid wants today.
Yeah.
Back then, nobody wanted that. They wanted the techno, the constant 4 on the floor, around here anyway. So it was like, man, if I would have stuck with this, the whole but hey.
Plus, the patience of older trance. It's you just let it. One of the things I was finding, songs are 9 minutes, 12. I found one that was 11 minutes long. I was like, that's ridiculous. But it gets to it. It slowly just keeps teasing out the elements, and it just works. I don't know. There's something about it.
By the way, this episode is dedicated to Firecat 451.
Oh yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'll bring one in here. Let's see. Make sure I don't step on your chords there. Okay, so this one, which one do I want to start with? I think I'll start with this one. GTR, also known as Gareth Emery.
Yeah.
He also used to make trance. And this song is dedicated to my buddy Tommy, who's been on the show before, because this is one of his favorites. And this song's called Mistral or Mistral. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. I feel like I originally heard Armin play this.
Okay. So you used to go by GTR?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't know that. I was looking at Metropolis for a minute by him.
Yeah.
That was one I was I just steered away. I was like, that's not too classic. Yeah.
And this is one of those ones that it really does trance to me in that it has a couple of loops, hypnotic loops, and then it just kind of brings them in over time and plays it throughout the whole song.
I opened up for him the first time he was at BOMA.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I remember that.
It was Aaron Austin and myself. We tagged on it.
I think I was at that show.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was a good show.
Remind me to tell a story of you and Austin at Openfold. I know I've told you this offline, but we need to talk about that online.
All right.
It's a good story. Nice. Songs like this always make me think of just I'm getting ready to get in a spaceship and I'm just ready to take off.
Have you played the video game Wipeout? I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
That's when that game came out, I'm like, dude, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're just drifting
Gliding,
on the stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know. So you were a Gareth Emery fan?
Yeah, I mean, so I came in, through his trance stuff, and then when he started kind of blowing up bigger and the more EDM stuff, I kind of like fell off a little bit. But
as did Tiesto, did
yep, et cetera, et
a
cetera.
lot of them. Yeah,
chasing the
Here's
money.
that melody that starts coming in there.
I love it.
Little square
Love
wave,
it.
sine wave.
I've had so many songs with that same melody in the like that. I was like, yep, I need to bring that, and then YouTube said nope.
I think we need to play. Just do a show at Mass. Trance, like a trance show.
I would love to do that.
You should. So
That'd be awesome.
I'm doing a trance show at Dahlia for their Thump. They do Thump in Columbus. It's a Wednesday weekly.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Paul from My Best Friend's Party. Like it's all trance. I'm like a trance mercenary, I guess. So like whenever it's a trance, he used to have his birthday parties.
Trance
like,
apologist.
Yeah, basically, like he would be like, I want you playing because like there's people who we've talked about this. There's people who love trance, but then there's people you can't all DJ it because it's just different. Like this, you can't play this and play another banger
I gotta play
like
this
this. Yeah,
breakdown.
yeah, almost silence.
Then you're gonna think it's coming back, but you're gonna be wrong.
That's what I like.
It's a breakdown to a breakdown.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Little pluck.
Everybody in the crowd just doing the thing with him.
This is a great night driving track as well.
Oh, nice. This is the space part, I would think. Like when it opens up and it's just stars, you're just going through.
Yeah.
I just always visualize trance for some reason. It's a more in other styles of music.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So. Heavy.
Yeah, so like you always when dubstep really started coming around, you always talked about kids talking about the drop and everything, and that kind of became part of EDM culture or whatever. But I'm always like, man, trance like invented that shit.
Yeah, it's been there. We understood it. It's just like we waited. We had the patience to go through that breakdown because that was part of the song, and then the payoff was just that melody coming in twice as hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't something crazy different. It was like we knew what was coming in. It just came in. Yeah, it was awesome. It is awesome. Excuse me, or whatever. So, but yeah, I've not heard those last two songs. This is great.
Well, that's why we do this.
Yeah,
We
this
like
is awesome.
sharing it with the audience.
Yeah, just soaking it all in.
So what else you got for us, Brandon?
Let's. And I was talking about 10-minute tracks. This is one of those. So we're gonna zoom it up. This one is from 2010. It's a remix of a classic song. I don't know when, but it's Signum, First Strike. But this is the 2010 Sebastian Brandt remix. So,
I like Signum.
yeah, this song is literally. I was just on. I can't remember. I think it was on Sirius Radio or something like that. But it came on, and I was like, "Yep, this is awesome." So this is it playing right now? Oh. 1 second. There we go. Like when I talk about like
Trance always had that underlining chug.
Yeah.
Drew and I always called it the chug. Jigga, 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 jigga,
It
jigga,
just-
jigga, 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 jigga.
it feels like it fills the whole room, and like this song is just. But yeah, this is First Strike 2010 remix. So yeah, let me know if the level's right here. So we're kind of like.
Yeah, whenever there's a part like a breakdown or something you want them to hear, just crank it all the way up, and we'll
Sound
stop
right now.
talking, and then we'll bring it down when we're chatting.
I moved it up a couple minutes, but yeah, this, so I was, I fell out of trance for a little while because, like I've seen Paul Van Dyke that was actually probably the first trance show I ever went to or whatever. And then, you know, they just weren't coming around as much, you know. And then I didn't want to go by myself, you know. And even though I saw Paul Van Dyke by myself, I was like, fuck it, I'm going to the show, you know. But like, anyway, I found one of my friends said, hey, you need to go see this group called Above and Beyond, and I had like heard of them, but I was like, you know, so I saw them at what was it? Not Excalibur. What was it? The big Chicago club for? It was not Excalibur, something like that though. Like
Chicago?
Yeah, it was.
They played on the pier, on the Navy Pier.
No, it wasn't Navy Piers. This is like 2003 or something.
Oh, I have no idea
yeah,
what's going on, man.
Does
I
the
was
mid go back
down
that
south.
far?
I was down south.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it wasn't mid. It was like right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I saw Above and Beyond, and like, you know, it was just like, this is amazing, you know, and I kind of fell in Juna Beats, and so this is off their label, so I listened to a lot of their style, and yeah, this right here.
Check out
just,
that Super Soft.
Yeah. It's
big.
You know
like,
what?
if you like this melody, this is the best song ever. If you don't, you're going to shoot yourself.
And Juna Beats too. I listen to Anjuna Deep.
Yeah.
Like their stuff is like all their labels are really good.
It's slower trance, but it's
still
the elements are there.
Yeah, it's vibey.
But this was classic enough, and it just it's so good. Yeah, so this breakdown's really long, but it's
We'll play at least some of it. How long is it?
It's probably like a minute.
Oh, that's fine.
Minute and a half. It's not like super long, but it's definitely
That's nothing.
I guess for trance, it's not.
We're grown
super
folk.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
grown folk.
It's not rank 1 airways.
Yeah. I did have a rank one that I kept from, and yeah, it's all breakdown. But I just it just and the title of the song First Strike just makes me think of like way more urgent nuclear war type stuff, and so it just has this whole mystique to it that I was like, holy fuck, dude, that sounds awesome, like First Strike, like. And I'm just sitting here in my car, which is where I heard it first, and I'm just driving, and I'm like, dude, what is about to happen here? Same thing, just in a room, 10,000 people just losing their mind, like, give it to me, give it to me. I think headphones is the best way to listen to it first time.
You get to hear all that panning and stuff. I used to always love how they would filter out those synth leads like that in and out. Make them shorter and then increase the
bring it
release.
In, bring it out.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's all just going around, you swirling around, and just like,
trance is the one music I can just close my eyes and just let go and just
feel the feels.
Feel that I'm somewhere else, you know?
Like I always picture myself at a show listening to this music. It's weird. Like house music I love, but like it's just this music. I can feel it. Here comes the dryer. And it's just simple, you know, it just comes back.
A lot of layers in there to find.
It's just so much to just kind of, but it, you know, this is the song, you know, like they tease it in, it's coming, you know it's coming, there's this huge break, and then just the kick, you know, it's not no other layer, you know, it's just so simple, and I guess that's the beauty and the, you know, the trap of trance, you know, it's like the melody's bad, this song would be terrible, there's nothing else to pull out of it, you know, like if you're not into that, you know, there's probably people listening like, that's not what I'm into, you know, but like for me it's just like more of that. That's like a 10-minute song that just I can listen to front to back and just like the payoff is worth it. You know? And like I said, I was just in the car and I was like, this is intense. You know, so
It's a nice one, man. I dig it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.
It was cool that you brought in something from 2010 too. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was like, I want to pick something from 2009, 2010, because I didn't figure anybody else would look there for that. So I was
Yeah.
wrong, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, well, and I thought, I was like, well, if it became an issue, it was like, well, this is a classic trance song, it's just been updated. Because I was, there's a 2004 remix, a 99 remix, so it's been updated a few times. And, I think there's actually if you do like that song, there's a Juventa remix of that, which is crazy. Like, it's very current sounding or whatever. But I was like, I don't want to bring that in. And, but that's, anyway, I love the song. I love that just that melody, and like the remix, the Juventa remix is almost the same. It's just more aggressive, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So.
I like it. I mean, I haven't been, like I said, man, I haven't listened to trance in a long time, and to hear like Gareth Emery, because when I opened for Gareth Emery, I knew who he was, but I had never listened to any of his music. And this, like, I actually, this is making me want to go back home and start listening to trance again.
I'll be listening to it all night after you guys leave.
We were talking about, because I got cut off because that drop was coming in David's song, but like, and you don't want to mess around the best part of a song, but that's something I think people want. And it's not a gimmick. I think a lot of people want to do it as a gimmick, but they do it poorly. Like, because trance is, I can't play that song at a show,
Right.
like, unless I was Signum or some like the headliner. Like, no one's gonna sit through that unless you have like giant LED wall and stuff. Like, so you'd have to make it work. And so I think like the people who know and can do that can make it right.
That's where I think when I brought up Mask, it could really be done there because of the light show that they have and the feel of that room. They have the production. I mean, it has to be programmed properly
Sure.
in a sense, but a couple hundred
you
people
could,
in that
you
room
could
with
lose
some good
yourself
trance.
in a breakdown in that room.
Yeah,
I've been in.
absolutely.
The ceiling's low, and it just feels like you're somewhere else, and
Yep.
that's what you kind of want. But yeah, like they do that in Columbus every once in a while, and they call me up, hey, B-Funk, you want to do a trance set? I'm like, yep. Doesn't matter when I'm playing or whatever. I'm just gonna do my thing, and it's at Columbus. We've done one in Athens, and I know we're here. I know there's other people like you guys here, and I think you'd be surprised, like how many people like trance. Hell yeah, like I used to listen to so, and the people who've moved on to other genres will always have that feeling,
And
like
now you can make it a thing because when's the last time you had a big production around here that was trance based?
Right, long time.
So
we
you
just had
advertise it
Oakenfold.
as being that thing.
We just had it, but
yeah.
I mean,
But you didn't have to advertise that as a trance show. It was like the
Right.
trance-heads knew that, but
Right.
then, I mean, he has such a breadth of work that kind of everybody knows Oakenfold.
right, right.
Yeah, it's definitely. But yeah, it's something I think. I think that techno and drum and bass are like those genres that just like you announce those things, people are like, yep. They just come out like, hell yeah, this is different than everything else.
Yeah,
No against any other genres, but those are like just the people who are around that. They either grew up on it and they moved on to other stuff, or they've always just had that feeling for it, or they've always just loved it and they just never had a place to hear it. And they're like, oh crap, there's gonna be other people who love this music. Oh, I'm there.
Right.
Tony D, spin that shit.
All right, so my next one is a very the original is a very, very popular song that people that aren't even into trance probably know because it was radio. But it's a remix of. Are you familiar with Quivver?
Yep.
Yeah.
John Graham.
Yes, sir.
Well, this was his remix of Children. Robert
Miles.
Miles'
Oh, yeah.
Children.
Nice.
Yeah.
He did a remix of a Led Zeppelin song, right? I think it was on one of the Oakenfold, like Another World, maybe, or that. The only reason I remember is that was the first time I saw a band, like a popular band remix.
Okay.
Like I'd seen remixes of other songs. It's the first time I seen like U2 or something being like remixed. I was like, oh my gosh, like this has got to be awesome. And it was okay. I think it was like Gonna Love You Baby or something. I know it was on one of those Oakenfold compilations.
So Quivver is also John Graham, which is also part of Tilt.
Yeah, he's one half or 1/3 of I don't
Tilt.
remember. Yeah.
Yep.
Got a couple Tilt records floating around back there. Oh yeah.
Man, this song destroyed the world.
But this was in my arsenal of records. But I feel like I feel like Robert Miles' Children was a very, very, very big influential song.
Yeah.
That people that didn't know trance or that style of music, it kind of sucked them in, or gave them a little taste of.
Yeah, now I think there's a whole new generation of kids who've never heard that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just those simple arpeggios that just get you stuck in the loop and hypnotized. I always say.
They made these songs probably like that, but they're just so simple, and that's it makes sense. They don't have to overdo it sometimes.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear the progression. Like, we can hear the progression. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand or hear. Like, this song is really going somewhere if you really sit and listen to it,
What year was this remix?
98, I believe.
So this is right when trance was getting to that peak of just big over-the-top super saw leads and stuff. I don't think I've ever heard this version.
No?
I definitely not.
I mean, I was, like, no joke, every week I was ordering records from either Neptune, Drop Shop, or Global Groove in London. Like, every week.
Yeah.
Drew and I were, we were hooked.
Spending some money, huh?
We were hooked.
Such a tease.
I think even kids today know this lead. They know Children. It's almost like when
Kerncraft, Zombie Nation.
Zombie Nation.
Like, it just makes you go introspective. Like, you're just like,
A little bit more interesting sound design in this one.
Yeah.
Can you play this on the piano?
I could.
Yeah.
Sure. It's pretty simple.
For whom?
Oh, it's simple in that it's a single key melody. I'll put it that way. Not a lot of chords.
That beautiful snare roll.
Also became a big stereotype of the genre. So I was wondering if they were going to come in with the full melody again, because sometimes they'll do that. They'll play the, okay, here's the release, but then sometimes they're like,
something different.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
That's all you get. Yeah, psych.
No, but I feel like Children was a very, very, very influential song.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
That's a great mix of that, man. I'd never heard the Tilt mix. I'll play a piece of wax, I guess. Would you
Nice.
mind to hand me that silver record right
Yeah.
behind you there?
Ooh,
Dun-dun-dun.
I got tons of that later.
Yeah. So I went back and forth on this one because this is a classic for sure. But they came out with the original mix, and then later they came out with the probably more popular vocal mix. So I wasn't sure which I wanted to play. I think I'll play the vocal mix just because you can imagine what it sounds like without them. And this is Cast and Slide, Perception.
Yes.
Ooh, unfinished.
Also another really long track, so we'll probably have to skip around, but this is one of those tracks that has a lot going on out here, like we talked about in the audio spectrum and in the stereo spectrum. So lots of panning. The main lead does a lot of the going
Ooh,
back and
I like
forth.
that.
Was this on one of the Global Undergrounds?
I think so,
believe.
but I couldn't tell you which
Yeah.
one.
I want to say. No.
This is one of those really progressive, slow, takes its time building every little element, layering it.
Man, this is meaty. I like this. When did this come out? Or this remix? Or
This is
99.
see if I can catch it. Yep, 99. Called it.
Yeah, this was. It was one of the Global Undergrounds. I know that.
Yeah.
It was either Sasha or Digweed.
If Tommy was here, he could tell you. This is his record, too.
Was it? Yeah, that Global Underground, that series when they, Sasha, Digweed, Nick Warren, when all those series started coming out, that's when, my taste in progressive trance, started moving with their taste into progressive house,
Yeah.
and a little darker, and, yeah. Cast and Slide, amazing.
Good headphone song.
yeah. It's such a 90s sound. I like that.
So there's several of those little breakdowns, and every time they just kind of layer a little
Put
bit
another
more
more.
on. And so I'll turn it back up here in a minute, but you'll hear the vocals come in. They
Okay.
At some point they added that vocal version. I think the original came out first.
Okay.
At least I thought I heard that, but that said 99, so not
Yeah,
quite
they
sure.
said that
but-
progression. It's just it was a different time, and technology was also different, so it's harder to make these songs. So they had to stretch it out.
Oh,
and
it's
do,
hardware connected to
exactly.
cables,
Yeah.
and
They weren't just dropping an Ableton and just moving this around. It was
Yeah.
So
a lot of live knob tweaking, and
Exactly.
recording it, because you couldn't automate things as easily.
yeah. So we just let it breathe, and people were it was okay with it, and
There was also a thing back then called patience.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
For
I mean, yeah,
the
that's-
creator and the listener.
Yeah.
Go ahead, skip this head a little bit.
I love that subtle floor tom roll.
Yeah. And for as many breakdowns as this song has, it does tend to keep the beat going more than
Yeah.
other 1999 trance
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah, there's always something to dance to. It's just
Yeah.
different elements, and
Can see forever. Look inside of your mind.
It wasn't so in your face. It was just like,
yeah,
Find a sense
little angel floating,
Yeah.
sing to you.
The vocals add a little
Yeah.
cheese factor to it, but
I don't see
I like it.
cheese in it whatsoever.
This is
That's-
trance, and
it's-
that's what I like about it. It's seductive, this voice,
just a lot to pay attention to.
Yeah, it's just like swirling around me. Like I said, it just takes you to a place, you know, like in your mind or wherever. So
Guide your soul into the light. Swim
Still hear that?
into the open water. Drift on the tides that you may find. You may find your soul in the
Just
sunrise.
keep building and building like that.
Look around, you can see it in their eyes. Be as one together. Rise up as the emptiness subsides. You can sing forever. Rise up together.
It kills me to get out of the song,
I
but
know,
it is
right?
like 11 minutes or something.
it is painful.
great
to end
choice, though.
Trance
Thank
song
you.
for its time. Well, now, where'd you find that?
Where'd I find
Yeah.
it? Oh man,
Like, is there any story to it, or just, you know?
I can't remember. Probably online, like
Okay.
most of my
yeah, I
early
didn't
trance
know. Like
stuff.
some,
Trance
some,
Addict,
some of
probably.
them, yeah, it's like, you know, I remember it was a set, and I was Googling, and
That
Trance
was,
Addict finally
I'm
told me.
telling you, that song was on one of the Global Undergrounds without the vocal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I just forget which one it was. I'll have to look it up.
I'm sure somebody will post it in the comments. Hopefully.
All right, what do we got here? I'm gonna pull this in right here. So this one, I like I said, I'm a huge Paul Van Dyke fan, and
Is it gonna reach there for you?
yeah, we're gonna make it work. I think actually, I'll slide this back a little bit. So much so that he was playing a show in New York. I still remember in New Year's Eve 2004, going to 2005, and I had never been to New York, and I was just like, you know what? I've been listening to that Jaher, you know, Maximal thing mix, and I was just getting so amped about it. I was like, I'm just gonna go. Like, you could fly to New York for like $80, like in that time or whatever.
wow.
So I was like, I got a round trip ticket. Had never been to New York. I went to the show. You know, that's when like, you know, Let It Rain by Four Strings and all that stuff was like current or whatever. And I was like, I'm going to the show, and it was awesome. You know, I bought a VIP ticket, watched the show, went back to the airport, and tried to stay awake for like 6 hours and flew back to Athens. Like, you know, flew back to Columbus. Like, it was like a 20-hour trip, you know, but it was
Wow.
like one of the best things. I knew it was just by myself. I had like my coat. I think I brought a Spider-Man comic with me to read, like, you know, like I was just like, I gotta have something to read while I'm waiting or whatever. And so I had like a graphic novel, and so I was probably the weirdest person walking into that club, you know, like, but anyway, it just, so there was a mix I used to listen to, or still listen to. It's from Paul Van Dyke's Mayday 2003. I'm assuming Mayday's in Germany. I don't know. But anyway, like, they're speaking, I believe, German in this. And it just, when I've been talking about like trance that takes me there, this song really makes me just think like I'm at this concert listening to this song. And so it's a white label. It's by Nicole, and I think it has an uncleared sample. So I found it on YouTube or on Spotify. It's the same song, but they've changed the key of the sample, and you guys will know the sample when it comes on. But the sample is also my favorite song of all time. So that mixed with trance has just been like,
That doesn't hurt.
when I first heard it, I was just like blown over. And it's probably super cheesy, you know, but for me, it just hits the right way. And so this is Time by Nicole. So let me pull it up real quick.
Ooh, that's got to be 140
That's that
Yeah.
Paul Van Dyke. sound
140,
right there.
142,
somewhere
like
up there.
you'll even hear the speed up right there. You're like it's, you know, it's vinyl, you know, like. But yeah, I can't tell you how many times I probably discovered this in like 2004, like I said. But like, I would listen to this set over and over again. I think Indigo by Barry Corson's on this. Velvet Morning was on here. Some other like big songs of the time. And yeah, this is just. Oh yeah. Get your blood flowing.
That's right.
That down a little bit. This one's not overly long, which is good. It gets to the point, and then it gets out, and it's just... Yeah, this is classic PVD. Just like getting after it. You got a song that's 130. No, it's 138. We're doing this.
We're pitching this one up.
Yeah. It's coming up here pretty quick, so. But yeah, I don't know how I just into this, and I could sustain this for 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I forget how fast some of this stuff was until I go back. I'm like, whoa!
yeah, like 142, 144, like what?
I'm worn out and I'm not even moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has something to do with the drop that they put in. It just takes me right there. And, yeah.
Aha.
Sanduke.
So obviously, this sample probably didn't get clear, but it was a white label at the time. So, but yeah, this is. I'm a Coldplay fan. I love Clocks. It's my favorite song of all time. I love that piano. And this is just mixed with peak trance. I just loved it.
What's another big song they did? Sky Full of Stars, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song is amazing. I mean, they have a lot of hits,
Yeah.
but that song, really, really good song. Wasn't the way I was expecting it to come back.
Yeah,
I really dig it.
This goes right back into. He played this earlier in his set, and that's probably why I didn't. It's not a massive track like Silence or something like that, but it's
Right.
just. Oh yeah.
So this is a set rip.
Yeah. So this is from.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just saying, do you know if this is the original tempo or did he pitch it up?
I believe it's pretty close to this, yeah. Because I listened to, the song, so we can bring it down. I listened to the original, and it's just like that, but that whole part right there, it's like one semitone around. They moved like a couple keys, and it just sounds bad enough to be passable. Like you're just like, if it's not that, don't bother or whatever. But yeah, the tempo is pretty much that. So, but yeah, I know a lot of stuff that Paul, because I saw Paul Van Dyke in Spring Awakening about 3 or 4 years ago, and he played the song, what is it? Spy Above and Beyond. It was I can't remember. It was off the We're All We Need. Yeah, I can bring all this up. That's it. But I know the song is 131 beats per minute, but he had pitched it up to like 138 or whatever. Because I was like, this is, I listened to the set later, and it was way faster or whatever. And that's just what he does. Like
he's never been afraid of doing that.
He just pushes it, and you can hear it. And even at the beginning of that song, when he transitions, you hear it just go up. Like it's like, and like there's no key lock or whatever. It's just like he just throws it right in there, and that's what I love about it. But the song, it's got that Paul Van Dyk, like the drop, and that's something that was new. At the time, because like I feel like a lot of us all listen to the same sets because they're, somebody had to have a DAT recorder and record it and put it on the internet. That was a big deal. And then people were like, hey, it's on Trance Attic, and we all just got it. It wasn't like now where it's like we stream this and put it out. So we all kind of heard the same sets. And, I think a friend actually sent me this and that Jaher Maximal you're talking about, like just. So we're like, I've heard that, but I don't know what this song is. Because you don't have the track list unless you're Paul. He's like, I'm not telling anybody.
That was one of the big things that like the web forums and groups and stuff would do back then. Is you'd post an incomplete track list and it'd just say ID question mark.
ID question mark, and then somebody fill in, and then it'd be wrong, and then like things that Pat. Like I remember,
it'd take like 5 years to get the full thing, but then when he did, it was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I saw Carl Cox, and he played at Ultra, and I was like, what is this song he played in the set? And I would just go back to, it was at 28 minutes in, and I found it. It's like Cat something, Katt, And like, it's the same thing. I was like, does anybody know what this song is? And Carl Cox's ID all the way through, And so like, but it was like 4 years later, I was like, I'm gonna go back. Maybe and then it was right there, and it's just like it just validates that song before. It's like I have got rips on here. It's just opening set at Gallery Turnmills, tracks 1, 2, and 3, and I just love them all. I have no idea. Like you Shazam it. This is old as crap. It's not gonna pop up or whatever. And I'm just like, well, the song's just gonna exist how it is, as a track 1 off this track, and I'll never know who made it, but I love it. So
It's something you'll never get on Spotify, probably.
Yeah.
Or what you got for us, T?
I was debating between same producer, different song, between a couple of them. I think I'm going to go with this one right here. So, BT, Brian Tranzio is, in my opinion, probably the best American trance producer, composer.
I had quite a few tracks that YouTube would not let me bring this. So.
It's called Flaming June.
No, that's a good one. But yeah, I had some other
classic.
Yeah, it's a huge classic. And it's crazy because we saw him when Drew and I were in Tampa. We saw him on a Sunday night. He did a live PA, and it was phenomenal. I mean, he had his keyboards out. He was standing up playing, and got to see him down there. And that was 98 or 99. My years are confused back then. But fast forward to 2006 when I did Oakenfold at Hammerjack. So right after I had booked that and we announced it, there was a guy that was in town he was in charge of all of the people that went around and swiped your ID and gave you free packs of cigarettes at the club, the little promo team.
Yep.
He managed that whole team that was in Dayton doing that. And he had heard that Paul Oakenfold was coming to Dayton, and we were at Pearl, and Damien, the manager, was like, hey, this guy that works for Camel is trying to find out who the guy is that's throwing the Oakenfold show. Do you want to talk to him, meet him, blah, introduced us, whatever. Well, at the time, Camel cigarettes couldn't promote anymore on billboards, race cars, or anything because anybody could see it out in the open that was under 18. They were promoting cigarette brands, whatever. So the only way that they could do it was promote it within the club. So what Camel did is they hired this company, this marketing company called BFG, and they did tours in clubs, and they sponsored all these club shows. So his Ohio had Qbert in Cincinnati, Mixmaster Mike was in Columbus, and the third one was BT, and Dayton got BT. So we did BT at Mask, and this was 2006, and this was before Oakenfold, and it was a complete free show on a Thursday night.
I remember that show, and I couldn't make it for some reason or another. I can't remember why. I was super disappointed. I've still never seen it.
And the whole club was it was plastered everything Camel,
Yeah.
So we had a budget, and they hired me as the promotional company to throw the show. BT was the headliner. Drew and I got to open for him. But again, man, he was probably hands down the best American trance producer, composer. The guy he's a musical genius.
He's been doing it for so long too. I mean, that's what's amazing about it. The sound just keeps evolving.
Yeah.
There was a remix of this that was pretty popular that I used to listen to. Maybe Chicane did a version.
Yeah. But back then, and I don't know now, I feel like, a lot of the bigger songs, people know the vocals, but back then, just like the synth leads in trance.
Yeah.
And the piano.
Yeah, the pianos and the synth leads, that's what really, made the song stand out. And it was, I think they were, yeah.
I think Paul Van Dyke did a remix of this too.
Yeah, he did. This is the BT and PVD remix.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what.
Wait for it.
anticipation. That's that BT sound right there from Go.
Yeah.
Is that Go
Yep.
song that you're talking about? Has that same
Stutter,
acid
volume,
line?
yep. That's an early trance noise right there.
This was 99.
There was a PVD mega mix going around like on Napster, and the first song on that is this song. So I always just, this melody has always been there. Like before I even like knew what all the songs were, like, you know, I had to like piece it together. And then I bought that like 4-disc set that he had, you know, the 4-sprung techno or whatever, and this mix was on there. And I was like, oh, that's the BT song or whatever.
And all these like classic trance songs with these iconic melodies, like you said, like where the melodies are what you remember more than vocals or whatever. It's like whenever I listen to a couple of these, like somehow I managed to have like 12 trance songs stuck in my head at the same time for like 2 weeks. So I'm going to be hearing all of these just on loop
Well,
in
and
my head.
they're all like slight variations, yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know, what's up. And that was something, you know, we were talking about like Trance Attic and everything. So you'll now, you know, hey, I was at the set, I recorded the sound, here's this, do you want this? You know, we're try and explain this song to somebody else, you know, especially through the internet. You know, I talked to you guys, like,
Yeah.
but I'm like typing it out, like, so you had no help whatsoever.
It's like doot, 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 doot.
Like we were just done. You know, that's why I said when we would find a song, like, oh my god, this is amazing, thank you. Then I could go purchase it. But yeah, I was like, hey, unless you knew the artist or anything, it's just, hey, what was that 4th song they played?
We were the inventors of the drop.
Yeah. We just didn't have patience, man.
No. Now they're only a 32 and
Yeah.
64. They condensed them.
Tony's always got those gated synths in the background. Love it, man. Great choice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of good memories on that one.
So I think for my next one, I'm going to play one that's from a classic trance artist, but one that's probably less familiar to classic trance heads, because this came out in, I think it was 2009,
Mm-hmm.
and it's by Union Jack, which
Ooh.
is
Oh, wow.
Simon Barry,
Mhm.
also part of Art of Trance. And
Platypus.
yeah, platypus guy. So 2009, they tried to kind of, they came out with, they revitalized the label, but it wasn't called Platypus at the time. It was Porcupine or something, something like that. I can't remember. But this
I
is
didn't know
one
they
of
tried
the
to relive it.
yeah, and this was one of the tracks that they put out as a part of an EP or part of an album called Pylon Pigs. And the song's called Papillon. And the reason I wanted to play this is because, you know, we've been playing kind of a lot of like, you know, what I like, unicorn trance or whatever you want. It's like real feel good, fluffy kind of stuff, and this was more on the dark groove kind of end.
I'm gonna get you trance.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Still that same kind of hypnotic feel to it, but real dark and trippy.
And that stuff's come back with the side trance. That's like a huge.
Is it?
Yeah, like this. you know, it's the drop culture, you know, and it's got this aggressive. So it's like you get this, you know, 138. People are just they're loving it, you know. Like I see a lot of sets. Like I've almost thought I played some psytrance in my my open for Marcus Schultz just because like people expect it, you know.
And Tony and I've talked about this before. If you slow it down, you can. Techno's kind of gone this way. Like you can play a lot of this kind of stuff in techno as long as it's in the 120s or something.
Yeah.
Well, with pitch lock or key lock, you can still take it down to 120.
Yeah.
So it came out in 09, but it's kind of got an old school acid trance feel to it, you know.
That's Union Jack.
Yeah.
Signature sound right there.
I love the percussion work too.
Baba Dab had them live in Cincinnati. 98. There was maybe 150 people.
Is that you have footage of that, don't you?
Yes,
Somewhere?
I do.
You
Yes,
showed
I
me
do.
some of that.
Yep. Talk about bringing a full rig. Dude had a whole desktop.
Has any real breakdowns.
Yeah, it does. That's real to me.
Well, where the beat stops, I mean. Briefly, but not like the 2-minute stuff.
Yeah.
If it does what I think it's gonna do, that's gonna be awesome. I've heard that sound before, and I think it is. Wow.
Love it. I feel like they have, but I couldn't give you any examples off the top of my head.
It reminds me of like fantasy films of my childhood, like the, you know, when you enter like the magical forest or something like that, you know, that you know, like in a good way, you know, like it's just like, oh man, you know, like I'm just like entered something insane, and
almost in an 80s way. Yeah.
Never-ending story or something like that.
I think you'll really like Stephen Boston, the guy I was telling you about movement. Yeah, because his stuff is
very much into this. A lot going on. But it's all together like that.
There is a breakdown.
See, now you could loop that, bring in a break beat with it.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
20 years ago, like the air horn would be going off. You're like. I like that a lot.
This one I actually have played out.
Okay.
Like it slowed it down just a touch and mixed it in with like a techno set, and it works.
If you go back and listen to "Calling Your Name" and that whole the underlining sound is all within that Platypus label, man. It's great. I love it.
I guess we should mention Patreon for our if you want to become a supporter of Passionate DJ
Like
and
this
you
guy
want
right here.
like this guy right
Do it.
here who is awesome and supports us on Patreon. You can do that at patreon.com/passionatedj. If you do that, you can get access to our monthly bonus episode called After Party, where we put all our extra stuff and things you don't get on the main show. It's a lot of fun, and
It is awesome.
Brandon seems to like it.
Yeah,
So
thank you for the support.
I listened to a set about trance. Trip was talking about getting prepared for a set, and it, like I said, I wrote to you guys. It was like, hey, this is more of this. Yeah, it was great. So yeah, it's definitely fun, and it's funny as well. Like you kind of probably learn these guys' personalities, so you get a lot of different sides and kind of random stuff that's not necessarily. I won't say it's not important, but it's interesting to hear them just talking about stuff and not being like, the topic you guys are talking about, because it's all important.
yeah, sometimes
so.
we just leave the mics on, we just keep BSing, and then we end up with good conversations.
Yeah.
And we're like, somebody needs to hear this, so we give that to the patrons to thank them for their support. So, is there anything you want to plug or share your social media?
No,
stuff?
I mean, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud at DJ B-Funk, and Facebook it's B-Funk Official, and YouTube the same thing, B-Funk Official. DJBfunk.com if you want to reserve me for a party, you can do that too. But yeah, no, I've got a bunch of mixes, and I've got a couple trance shows this year coming up, so I'm really excited about that. So
Nice.
hopefully, and I've got a mix that I did last year for Cosmic Gate. I did direct support for them, and I haven't released it.
Cool. Well, for our send out track, do you guys want to go with more of a classic, or do you want something you maybe you've never heard before?
I want you to go with whatever you thought you were going to do before you asked that question.
I was
you go
hoping you would
either way?
decide for me.
I mean, what do you think, Tony?
Classic.
Classic, yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be because I started with Traffic, which is a classic. We'll bookend.
That's fair.
Yeah, let's do
yeah,
that.
we'll bookend it. Cool. So I mentioned Chicane earlier, so I'm going to play a classic Chicane track called Saltwater.
I almost
Did
brought
ya?
that in. Yep, I had there's a few different mixes because all the compilations, that song was everywhere, and I wasn't sure, but I was like, let me stir it. But I almost brought
So we're
that.
working it in either way.
I like
So
it.
Brandon,
I like
thanks
it.
so much for hanging
Yeah,
out,
I
man.
appreciate
We
it.
appreciate
Good
it.
times, man. Good
Oh, it's
times.
awesome, man. Anytime
Yeah.
I can talk about this music. Ugh.
And this is Saltwater, and this has been the Passionate DJ Podcast. Peace.